My name is Lawal Wagamila, and I'll be your moderator for this session. And I'll not be doing this alone. I have my co-moderator with me here. Are you there, Mr. Preacher? Can you hear me?
I think my voice is clear now. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, and to everybody. We are welcome to this live webinar, and we are so glad to have everybody join us. We believe that more people will still be joining us even as we commence our discussion, even as we commence today's webinar. So we are all welcome, and yeah, thank you for having me, Mr. Ami. Thank you very much. All right. So before we will be having our speaker talk, and we will be properly moving into what we. So before we'll be properly moving into what we have today, I just want us to take note of some few things, and from there we would be having the welcome address. But before we have the welcome address, and even as we have more participants join us at this time, I would want us to, I believe for participants joining, our microphones have been muted already. But if at all yours is not muted, we would like you to mute it and also try to avoid any background noise so that we can have a smooth flowing discussion today. And also, we really, really want you to engage with us. We want you to pass your comments on the chat box, your questions, maybe when any of the speakers are having their presentation and you have a question to ask, you can drop it in the chat box. There are people that would go through them and would be able to look into our questions, our comments, our contributions as well. Also, the chat box, we'll be looking at it all through the session. You can be rest assured that we will be looking at the chat box all through the sessions. Also, the chat box is for in case you have any issues or any difficulties while the webinar is going. We would really, really want you to communicate with us through the chat box. We will not be allowing any of our participants to talk live so that we can be able to stick to the time that we have planned for this webinar. So once again, you are welcome. And our time together this day for us in Nigeria here this afternoon is not going to be a long one. Immediately after I done talking, we would start with a welcome address. That's from our chief researcher, and also to be followed immediately by two huge and insightful presentation from our distinguished speakers. When we would call them, when we are done, we'll call them, and I would really, really want us to take as much note as possible, be ready to ask questions and learn from their expertise, learn from their wealth of knowledge as well. And then after both of our speakers are done, we would come back to take our questions and also our closing remark. Please, I want us to take note that so we do not eat into any speaker's time, we will really want to take all questions, or we really answer all questions after both of our speakers are done presenting. So after the first speaker, we will take note of our questions, but it will not be answered until the second speaker is done. So when the second speaker is done, then we will take all questions, or let me say, we will take as much questions as we can within our time frame. Then we wrap up with the closing remark. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Butcher. So without further ado, it's my honor to invite our chief researcher here at DRACCO Research, Ms. Oni Adeleke, to deliver welcome address. You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, can hear you, ma'am.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of DRACCO Research, I warmly welcome all our participants to this special webinar. I especially acknowledge our distinguished guest speakers, Professor Olubusoye and Dr. Olalekan Akintande, as well as our attendees joining from different institutions and countries. We are truly excited to have you with us for what promises to be a very insightful session. This webinar was designed with a clear purpose to reflect on the growing importance of artificial intelligence in research and data analysis. AI is no longer a futuristic idea. It is a tool shaping the way research is designed, conducted, and interpreted across disciplines. Our aim today is to demystify AI and provide participants with practical knowledge that empowers them to use these tools responsibly and effectively in their own work. DRACCO Research is committed to advancing innovation, capacity building, and research excellence. Through initiatives like this webinar, we strive to contribute to the professional growth of researchers, analysts, and students by creating platforms for knowledge exchange and skill development. We are deeply honored to have with us today Professor Olubusoye and Dr. O.J. Akintande, both highly respected in their fields. Professor Olubusoye will be sharing practical insights on AI tools for research and data analysis, while Dr. Akintande will guide us through understanding the limitations, misuse, and risk of over-reliance on generative AI in research. On behalf of DRACCO Research, I sincerely thank both of you for accepting our invitation and for the knowledge you are about to impart. Your presence adds immense value to this event. To our participants, I encourage you to make most of this session. Be attentive, take notes, and ask questions. This is your opportunity to interact with experts and colleagues, and your level of engagement will determine the value you take away from today. With great pleasure, I formally declare this webinar open. Let's begin our journey into exploring the principles, practices, and pitfalls of integrating AI in research and data analysis. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma. All right, so now we'll be introducing our first speaker. It's my pleasure to introduce our first speaker, Professor Olusanya Elisa Olubusoye, professor in the Department of Statistics at the University of Ibadan and Senior Research Fellow at the Center for Econometric and Allied Research. Professor Olubusoye has had an illustrious career serving as the acting head of department, a visiting scholar at the International Monetary Fund, and a Nigerian technical expert in Ethiopia. His research spans macroeconometric modeling, Bayesian analysis, and statistical simulation, and he has worked on major projects with organizations such as the African Union, the MacArthur Foundation, and the World Bank. He is also a chartered statistician with the Royal Statistical Society, and he has played a key role in advancing statistical literacy and practice in Nigeria and beyond. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Professor Olubusoye as he leads us in today's discussion. You're welcome, sir. We're so delighted to have you, sir.
Well, thank you very, 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 very much. So good afternoon if you are in Nigeria, and good day wherever you are in the world. Welcome to DRACCO Research Webinar. It's a pleasure to be here today. Today, we will be delving into a very timely and practical topic: practical AI tools for research and data analysis. We will explore the practices that are shaping modern research, the core principles. We will also look at important and common pitfalls that we must avoid. So let's begin the discussion. Hey, to give you a roadmap of our session, we will first discuss the expanding role of AI in modern research. We will then break down the various categories of practical AI tools available to researchers today. I will walk you through some concrete case studies to illustrate their application. We will then pivot to the crucial framework of principles, best practices, and pitfalls. Finally, I will leave you with some key takeaways, and we will have time, hopefully, for questions and answers. The role of AI in modern research. Let's set the stage. Artificial intelligence at its core is the simulation of human intelligence processes by machines, especially computer systems. In research, this is no longer a futuristic concept. It's a present-day reality. AI is being applied across the entire research life cycle, from processing complex data sets and building predictive models to creating dynamic visualizations. We are witnessing rapid adoption across all disciplines, from the hard sciences to the humanities. This represents fundamental shift towards AI-augmented workflow, enhancing how we discover and interpret knowledge. So what are the benefits and what are the challenges? The adoption of AI is driven by significant benefits. It brings unparalleled efficiency by automating tedious tasks, improves accuracy by minimizing human error, offers scalability to handle massive big data sets, and aids in discovery by uncovering patterns, which as human beings we might miss. On the other hand, it is not a magic bullet, as some may want to believe. We must contend with significant challenges: the perennial issue of data quality, the black box problem of interpretability, serious ethical concerns, including algorithmic bias, and the risk of over-reliance, where we cede too much critical thinking to the machine. So let's begin by looking at the categorization of those AI tools. The first category are those AI tools for data collection and processing. So we can recognize AI tools by their function in the research pipeline. The first stage in research basically is data collection and pre-processing. AI can now assist in designing smarter surveys and validating responses in real time. Tools for web scraping have become incredibly sophisticated, able to extract and structure text and image data from the web. For the critical, often laborious tasks of cleaning, handling missing values, standardizing entries, and detecting inconsistencies, tools like three-factor and OpenRefine use machine learning to automate and suggest corrections. And that saves the researcher countless hours. Another category of practical AI tools are those that are designed for data analysis and for modeling. Once your data is clean, the next step is analysis and modeling. And this is where most people think of AI. Environments like R, Python, with libraries like Skitlan and TensorFlow are very popular. A key development is the auto ML or automated machine learning from platforms like H20.ai and Google Auto ML, which automate the process of model selection and tuning, making advanced analytics more accessible. Furthermore, you have the natural language processing, LNP, with tools like Sparsy, which allows you to analyze text data at scale for sentiment, themes, and summarization. Another category of AI tools for research purpose is those designed for visualization and interpretation. Data means little if we cannot understand and communicate it. This is where AI-driven visualization comes in. So you have platforms like Tableau and Power BI. You also have Local Studio. So all of them can be integrated. So, and you could also create very elegant charts. These tools, they facilitate the creation of interactive dashboards, which are powerful for collaborative insights and real-time policy analysis. So generative AI can also help create explanatory visuals and infographics to make research findings more accessible to broader audiences. Another category are those that are meant for collaboration and even for writing your research papers. So these AI tools, they have revolutionized the academic writing and collaboration process. You have tools like Elisa and connected papers. They can turbocharge your literature review by finding and summarizing relevant papers based on your research question. For writing, tools like Grammarly go beyond grammar to enhance clarity and even the tone. Tools like ChatGPT can assist in drafting and structuring content. Even citation managers like Mendeley and they are leveraging AI to better organize and suggest literature. So those are the basic categories of AI tools for research. If you recall, I have mentioned tools that are meant for data collection and pre-processing. Those categories that are meant for data analysis and modeling. And of course, those that are meant for visualization and interpretation. And the last category, those that are for collaboration and writing assistance. So those are the basic categories of AI tools available for researchers. So let's now look at maybe one or two case studies. So to serve as a concrete example. So imagine you've collected a large survey data, manually checking thousands of responses for inconsistency, checking for errors, either entry errors, whatever kinds of error, could be very, very tedious. AI tools can automatically flag outliers for you, can also flag imputational or missing data using smart algorithms, can easily standardize open-ended text responses using a tool like OpenRefine or a Python script, So what used to take a week can now be done in just a few hours with greater consistency, allowing you to focus on the analysis itself. Another example, in the social context, social science context, rather. Suppose we want to identify the key factors, predicting a particular outcome. Instead of manually testing dozens of models. So you can use auto ML, automated machine learning platforms like H20.ai. It will automatically run. It will evaluate the models and compare multiple algorithms from linear models to complex ensembles and identify not only the best performing model, but also the most important predictors. So this allows the researcher to focus on interpreting the results and their theoretical meaning rather than on the computational heavy lifting or rigor. The third example I would like to use in this discussion is in the area of literature review. Another powerful application is when you are conducting literature reviews. You can use a tool like Elicit. Instead of just searching by keywords, you can pose a direct research question. The AI will scan thousands of papers, extract key information about methodologies, findings, and even weaknesses, and present it in a structured table. This doesn't replace deep reading. I'm sure there will be questions in that respect, but the point is that it's not a substitute to you thinking about your work, but it just to reduce, make the process less tedious, and you are able to even do an in-depth review compared to when you do it manually. So it drastically accelerates the mapping and synthesis phase, helping you identify the most relevant literature to read in depth. So you can, after using these tools, you can be able to narrow down to those few papers you now need to concentrate and digest deeply. The fourth example is in respect of interactive dashboards for policy. For researchers who are involved in policy work, consultant, or consultancy services, who are involved in communicating findings to policymakers or to clients. You can use AI-powered dashboards, available in tools like the Power BI, which allows you to create interactive visualizations that policymakers can use themselves. It's not so technical, not so complex for the policymakers to interact with. They can filter data, run scenario analysis themselves, and see in real time, the best options available to them. The AI Copilot can help you to build these dashboards, and generate natural language summaries of the charts, making complex data instantly understandable and actionable for decision making. I use this tool, particularly Lucas Studio a lot. I use it. I just don't want to mention some of the institutions that have been involved. So now let's talk about the principles. I know Dr. Akintande will still expatiate on some of these concepts. So with great power comes great responsibility. I think we should underline that. As we integrate these tools, we have to be guided by core principles. The first one is the transparency. We must strive to use explainable AI and document our processes so others can understand how results were generated. That is the most important aspect that we all need to, you see, when you use AI, you must also reference it, because those who will read should also be able to, reproduce whatever finding you claim you have gotten. And that takes us to the concept of reproducibility. Our analysis must be verifiable by others. They must know how you arrive at the finding that you are claiming. So if you are not transparent, you are not able to document the prompt you use properly so that others can also use, then it becomes difficult for your research to be reproduced. So it also involves sharing code, data, and model parameters. The third one, which is also very important, is accountability. This is where most researchers will want to transfer, the fault discovered in their research to AI, rather than honing that response, taking the full responsibility of their work. So ultimately, the researcher is responsible for the outcomes and conclusions. The AI is a tool. We cannot blame the tool for errors in our research. So you are far, you should be in control of your research, and you should take responsibility if anything goes wrong. And that is the point being made here. So to uphold these principles, transparency, reproducibility, accountability, we should adopt several best practices. And one of them is to implement strong data governance to ensure that our data is ethical, is secure, and is well documented. Documentation is very important. Second, to maintain human oversight. You should be in control. You should be in charge. You should be in charge at all critical junctions, especially when you are interpreting and you are interpreting your findings and you are conducting ethical reviews. The third best practice, or the third in the list of the best practices, is for you to prioritize the use of explainable AI. Those AIs that will help you to document your research process. Make sure you prioritize them over and above the black box models that will not be able to, you don't know what goes on in between the input, and the output. You know the input, you know the output, you get the output, but the process is inside the black box. So it's not feasible. So I've talked about the best practices, strong data governance, ensure human oversight, don't abandon your responsibility to the AI. No, you should be above AI and not the AI above you. And prioritize explainable AI for better trust and adoption. Let's begin to wind down. But before we do that, let's look at the pitfalls to avoid. There are clear pitfalls that we must be vigilant about. The first one is over-reliance on automation. This can lead to a loss of critical engagement with our research. If you rely too much on the automation, you may discover that you are no longer in charge. You are not engaging, you are not interrogating, you are not probing. You are simply, resting on the automated results. And humans are not, designed to, they are not robots. So that can really create problem for your result. Again, the pitfall you must watch out for include ethical lapses, such as using biased data or not considering privacy, not protecting personal details. All this can have serious consequences. You could be prosecuted, if you expose personal details. Another one is ignoring bias. It's obvious that your data is biased, but you choose to ignore it. In AI balance, is a cardinal sin. So AI will amplify biases present in the training data. Maybe Akin will still talk more on that. His PhD is on algorithmic bias. So finally, we need to be aware of the misuse of generative AI. So, like your ChatGPT, you use by just giving the prompt to write the entire paper in a sweep. Sometimes this thing will, before you open your eyes, the entire paper is written, but you cannot defend it, and you are not in charge. So this misuse of generative AI threatens academic integrity and the very essence of original thought. Your thought should reflect in your research, and that makes your research original, not the thought of the machine. So, to conclude, the central message is this: AI tools are powerful enablers, but they are not replacements for foundational research skills. They are not replacements for domain expertise, and they are not replacements for critical thinking. They are not. So you will see the formula that I put there. True success lies at the intersection of your domain expertise and these new AI capabilities. So which means your success depends on your expertise in your field and your ability to integrate the AI capabilities to do what you need to do or to achieve the objectives of your research. So it's not to throw away your domain expertise. So my call to action for you is to explore these tools. Don't avoid them and don't abuse them. Don't use them recklessly. Integrate them responsibly into your workflows and use them not to replace your intellect, but to augment it and push the boundaries of your research. And let me just leave you with this final thought. The future of research belongs to those who combine critical thinking and the power of artificial intelligence. Thank you for your attention. I look forward to your questions. I believe there will be several questions, but we will all answer the questions together. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. We are very grateful, and it's been an insightful presentation. Thank you very much, sir. I personally would have loved to start listing out some of the things that stood out for me, but my time would not permit me. But I could see that from the principles that Prof mentioned about transparency, mentioned about accountability, and also under the pitfalls. I think one thing that stood out for me was when you mentioned over-reliance on automation. And I think is one thing that is very, very quite common presently. We just want AI to just do everything for us. In fact, we prefer that AI should do it. Then at the end of the day, we can now understand what it has been done. So thank you very much, sir. I'm very sure people will start dropping in their questions. But I said it before the welcome address that we would not take questions immediately so that we don't each into the second speaker's time. So immediately the second speaker is done, we will take all the questions together, and I believe we would have ample time to answer as much question as possible. So our second speaker is Dr. Olalekan Joseph Akintande. Dr. Olalekan is a postdoctoral researcher at DTU Compute, Technical University of Denmark, and is also a lecturer in computational statistics unit at the University of Ibadan. Dr. Akintande is a computational statistician, and his work focuses on fair, transparent, and socially responsible AI. And he has been recognized globally, including as a Microsoft Research PhD Fellow for Africa, and also by Elsevier for impactful contributions to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And Dr. Akintande research covers algorithm, statistical learning, and responsible AI, and also his innovative contribution, such as the CFCV framework, and he has presented at the leading international conferences. And also is very, very passionate about advancing AI literacy and also sustainable development. And we are so, so very much honored to have him join us today on this live webinar. And we are honored to have him here. And please just join me as we welcome Dr. Olalekan Joseph Akintande. Thank you very much, sir. You're welcome, sir.
Glad to have you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. There is one thing that you did not mention that is that Professor Olubusoye happened to be my PhD supervisor. So he's my mentor and academic father, which is very important if you also cite my citations.
All right,
so
sir.
he's my father and he's also my mentor. And academically, he actually mentored me to to the state that I am today. So I'm very happy to join, and of course, I'll be throwing on what he just concluded. So I will just continue from where he stopped. So I don't know if you can see my screen already.
Yes, perfect.
Yes,
We can
sir,
see
we
it.
can.
Angie.
Okay, so the topic you asked me to discuss is understanding the limitations, misuse, and the risk of over-reliance on generative AI, particularly in research. So I'll be focusing on only the research aspect of this topic. So I'm not going to go to other realms of how this affect other areas of research, or maybe like industry and the rest of them. But I mean, cite some examples where necessary. So to start, I would like to give you this outline to see what I'll be talking about. So I'll start from introducing what Gen AI is, and then the key limitation of Gen AI, and of course the common misuses in research, and then the risk of over reliance, as Prof have mentioned before, which are the pitfall that we have to avoid when we are doing our research. Then I'll give some case studies and examples. Then I will talk about how we can mitigate this shortfall or pitfalls, and then how we should avoid relying too much on Gen AI. Then we conclude, and we go to question and answer. So as my nature, I always like to start things with a bit of comedy. So now I've listened to people saying a lot of things about AI. In fact, I have a friend, a colleague in the office here, is from France, and he always we call people like that, we call them algorithm averse people, or people that have technophobia kind of phobia. They don't want to adopt AI because they believe that it's going to erode their critical thinking, which is actually true to some extent if you abuse the use. So we know, of course, that generation from the silent generation to Boomba to up to what we have now with the generation Alpha, things changes and evolve over time. So the fear that people are expressing to me is normal. So people should do the same. As you can see, in 1986, mathematicians protest against using calculators. So you can imagine people are protesting because of calculator in the school. Then at the point, people also protest about computer. So when new things come up, people tend to want to say that, oh, this is not supposed to be because it can change the way we think or the way we work, because it will take away our good parts of human being. But it's not always true anyway. So it's not always true. And that's why talk like this is just to inform and to educate us on how we should address or we should approach the use of these tools, so that we indeed will not actually lose our skills that we already acquire over time. So, of course, we know the history of computer, how we started from analog. I remember one of our professors in the department always telling me that in their time they used what they call punch card. I never see it in my life. So, but I saw it in a picture, and when we become somebody, we started with computer. So, and then people that are coming now, we start with another very advanced computer. So now we have a very big GPU and the rest of them that can do lots of crazy stuff. So now we are in the era of AI, which we cannot deny. And this is going to be for as long as human being lives. And then it will keep going and going up. And it will keep expanding, and it will become something that is bigger than what we have today. That is the truth. So it's always a fear that people always show this kind of concern when we are moving from one generation to another generation, from one technology to another technology, and then people tend that we are moving too fast because of adoption of this technology. And of course, people have been talking about how people will lose their job and how people might not be able to cope, and then how industry will replace human being with machines and the rest of them. It's already happening, but the fact is that human being cannot be removed from the market. That's the truth, because we create these tools, and what we create, I think at a point, it may happen maybe in the next 200 years when computer can do their things without human being. Then human being at that point may be doomed in the race. But for now, we are still safe, and I'm sure that most of us by that 200 years we will be no more. So we shouldn't bother ourselves too much. So I would say that this is the beginning of a new world for humanity, because as we are moving now, we are moving to a world that is going to be entirely going to be automation, and we actually rely more on things that are automated. So from our analog to our computer now to total automation, we're going there. So we can imagine what's going to happen in the next 100 years to now. So I will start from trying to just give you an idea of what AI is about. For researchers like us, we see AI as something that we use to assist us to achieve our research goal. So in fact, I always wish that there is already this Gen AI when I was in my PhD, because maybe I could have come up with another innovation better than what I did. But it doesn't, because these eight guys came up in 2022, and I finished my PhD in 2022. Of course, I defended in 2023. So the good thing about this thing is this Gen AI is that they combine very powerful algorithm together, which can be trained on over billions of parameters. Humanly speaking, it is not possible for human being to do such with their analog kind of power. But we can do that because we have high computing power now that is available globally. Although we don't have such computers in Nigeria at the moment because of a lot of issues that we have. So because of that, we can combine parameters that are over billions to train them to generate an idea, to come up with different ideas that can actually solve particular problem. So they start with how can we make machine to behave exactly like human being, and it's very easy. The algorithm is easy, only that it combines a lot of mathematics together to achieve the goal. Because one, this algorithm relies on our data that is already available before Gen AI came. First of all, we have Google, we have Yahoo, we have social media already coming up gradually, and then they pack up, and then in 2022, then OpenAI started the first ChatGPT that we have. Then other guys also came. So when I was in Microsoft, I was privileged to also work on Copilot with them. So we do some work on Copilot, and it was also very interesting. So now it's Gen AI. So now the thing is that the goal is just to make sure that to make human being tasks to be more lighter and more easier. For researchers, so it's because to have like a companion that can help us to achieve our research goal. I tell people that always shows this kind of fear that if you're using SPSS before, you're using Tata before to do your work, then if you don't see those ones as a threat to your intelligence, then why do you see Gen AI as a threat to your intelligence? The point that I can tell AI to generate my code for me or to assist me to correct my code is just to make my work easier and faster. I'm the thinker. He is like my secretary that I order him to do this for me and do that for me. That is for me. But the thing is that some people now see Gen AI as a tool that they have 100% about on, and they rely, even their essay and article writing is not depending on that idea. And that's what Prof mentioned in his talk, that those are one of the major pitfalls that people should really avoid. So, as Prof have said before, we use this Gen AI, we can use it for data analysis, for literature review, for idea generations, and then for drafting of papers. So people do that. People use them to draft paper from A to Z. People use it to do analysis, people use them to do literature reviews and generation of idea. But there are a lot of danger or a lot of pitfall that come with this over reliance on them of to do those stuff for you. So now the thing that we are seeing now is that we have seen changes over the year. I remember when I started statistics, it's always we use our hand to do. And like, I remember that we use our hand to do table and figure in polytechnics. Then we use computer later on, spaces. Then in 2010, I heard about Hack for the first time in my life. Then we started using Hack programming. Then again, we move on now. Python came, and then Python now we have Gen AI now. So I don't even need to know how to code again now. So if I have my idea, I can say, do this for me, and I have my result. So we're talking about how all these things can help us. So as Prof already mentioned, Gen AI enhance our productivity if we know how to use it very well by automating our repetitive tasks. Like it allows us to do tasks more convenient, more efficiently than before. I remember when I was in my PhD, I spent almost 2 weeks trying to develop a code to construct a table that I wanted to construct because I don't have any, so I have to sit down on my own because the table is a kind of new table I want to develop. So then I have to sit down, use my paper and Bible to first of all construct the table. Then I begin to combine my algorithm together to develop the table. I imagine if I have Gen AI with me, I can do that thing within maybe a day at most, or maybe within an hour, I will get it done. And maybe I could have done something better than that. So it also assists us in brainstorming and synthesizing information. So in most cases, if you are doing research, it's always good for you to query what you think is right. At times, you don't have all the information about research. But you might use GenAI to query what you think is so that you know what people are saying all over the world. For instance, now I want to do a study maybe about HIV. And what I think is that maybe HIV only affects some set of people, or maybe HIV is this and that. I can ask GenAI to give me an idea of what people know about HIV from different continents of the world. The engineer can help me. So I don't have to go to the library. Before, we have to go to the library to sit down or to start googling for papers that can take days and months. Then I have to review them one after the other to see what people are saying. But now I can sit down my system and say, what are people talking about this topic? Can you give me an idea of what I'm supposed to know? This is my idea. Then they can help me to generate and give me my information, then combine it by synthesizing with what people are saying and see and tell me whether there's a gap that I can easily fill into for my own research project. So now I remember Prof will tell us that you need to look for a gap in literature that you want to work on as a PhD student. So now it is easy for you as a PhD student because now you just think about an idea and you can query what are people talking about this problem globally. So from there you can extract an idea that is a gap from what everybody is saying. So that's another good way of using it. Then it enables us to do quick prototyping of hypotheses, and you can actually use this to do a lot of feature analysis that will help us to have a very sharp and straightforward kind of answer to what we are looking for. So you can see GenAI can be useful for a lot of things. Now, but don't forget, as Prof has said in his talk, that all these good part of AI come with benefits and also come with significant caveats that we have to understand. Because if we fail to understand this caveat, or if we fail to identify where there is a restriction to what we should do, then we might be abusing the use, we might be breaking some ethical concern or laws, we may also be trading our skill to computer, and then we might lose our humanity. And that is the fear of everybody globally. People don't want to lose this part of our humanity. We should be in charge. Machines should not take over of our duty. And that is exactly what everybody says. And that is, if that is what everybody is saying, then that is good. Not expressing fear that we shouldn't use it at all. We cannot do without using it because it's a tech. It's like now you're telling me that I should stop using computer to do my work. I cannot do without computer per day. So that will come that people cannot do without GenAI also per day, because it depends on what you use computer to do or GenAI to do. But we have to understand the limit of what we can do with this technology. Now, that takes me to the first part of limitation of what this GenAI come with its caveat. Now, first of all, you have to understand that GenAI, as I said before, is trained upon our data that we put online. So we have stupid paper, we have good paper, we have paper that are not standard, we have ideas, we have comments that people have put on the internet that doesn't make any sense. GenAI relies on all these informations, and that's why you saw this GenAI company like OpenAI, Meta, Grok, which is owned by Elon Musk, and other ones. They have this large house of data reservoir. They call it data center, where they store all these data sets that their machine trains upon to give you what you are seeing on your system. So it means this computer go to this reservoir of information, whether the good one, the bad one, the stupid one, all of them together, to extract information from them to give you a response to what you are asking for. Last week, I read about a man that queried ChatGPT to assist him to give him a medication for a particular disease because he couldn't get the drug that was prescribed for him at the hospital. So indeed, ChatGPT gave him a response, and what ChatGPT gave to him was a whole drug that's actually used for people that have hallucination. So the man used it and then he ran mad eventually. So it's an idea that somebody may have prescribed that drug for, so maybe in a study or talk about that thing. Then ChatGPT picked that idea and gave it to him, and he went to go and buy the drug. Then it makes him almost mad. So we need to understand that ChatGPT is not human being, and then ChatGPT cannot be all responsible for any mistake that he made. We are responsible for all the mistakes that he made. So that's why we should know that even though it gives us good idea, we should know that it also lacks creativity. It's not thinking, it's just taking from a source and reframing them for you as a response. For instance, now, when you ask Jabby to query or to write a code for you, you just go to the library of the system. Like now, if you're using Python, you say, give me a Python code that do this. It's very easy. You just go to the library, to the reservoir of Python, programming, and because he had all the syntaxes on his memory, he just come up and give you the code because he have access to those syntaxes. Like now, you ask me to speak English, I can speak English and use any word for you. If you have to speak Yoruba language, I can speak Yoruba language and use any word for you, and I will do it very fluently. The same way, this guy just go to because he has all the information at the background. He just go there and take it and then give back to you. And that means that you still have to query and check whether what you're having is what you expect to have. And that is where your expertise, as Prof have said, your domain expertise play a very powerful role. Because if you rely on just what you are getting and then putting it back and you're doing garbage in and garbage out, then you are doing the wrong thing. Then this guy, I've said before, as I said, rely on training data set, which is from the reservoir that they have stored by the company. And that's why at times when you query ChatGPT, at times, maybe you are using the old model of ChatGPT. Like now, I query ChatGPT in February about who is the president of the US. And he keep telling me that it is Joe Biden. And I said, no, it is Trump. And he said, no, Trump was president in 2029 or 20 this and 2020, and he was defeated by Joe Biden. You can see because the training set that they use for that model have not been updated to know that Trump is the new president of America in 2025. So it is not immune to error. It is not immune to mistakes. So you have to know that. So then in research, it can lead to derivative output other than groundbreaking discovery. So don't think that what you have from ChatGPT is 100%. Never think like that. It is just an idea that you as domain expert must look at and then look at what is relevant in it and pick it, and then you can now develop it to your homework. You cannot copy and paste. You cannot take it and just use directly. It's just to give you an idea. For instance, now you have this idea, as I said before, you want to know what people are saying about it so you can know where you can fill in as a research gap. That is allowed. But always know that it is not immune to errors. Number two, ChatGPT do a lot of hallucination and also come with a lot of inaccuracies. Now, there are a lot of work that have been done about this topic. One of them is this guy that is a Marcel and Liga. They talk about reporting potential risks of using AI in higher education. So we have seen a lot of things that people have talked about, and then of course people expect different view about this. But the truth is this: ChatGPT come with a lot of inaccuracies. I have seen this several times. I've seen this several times, and I in fact I've documented some of them. And then I think about 3 months ago, I did some work for Grok, where I helped them to query the growth model that they're using now. So they asked us to do some questioning and interaction with the machine to test whether it's going to fail or going to pass what we are asking. And when we query, at some point, maybe up to 80% of time, you get the right response, but at some 20% of time, it fails. So and then at times you just look at information and guess like human being can do. We do this one too as a student too. When lecturer asks us question in the class and we have no idea about what the lecturer is saying. Most of the time we just want to say something that's so that we not do stupid to our colleagues. We just say something out of the blues. ChatGPT do the same thing to your responses to your query at times. When you query and then he lost the trend of the event, he just say, oh, this is the answer, or this is what I think about, or this is it. But it might not always be true. So it comes with a lot of inaccuracies as well. And then don't forget that the training set that they use, as I've said before, might also have a lot of errors or miscommunication or misinformation or incomplete details about what you are asking. So that can also lead to an incomplete or unreliable output from the ChatGPT. That's the limitation. Then, so, don't forget that in research, we are not dealing with guessing or hallucination, or research doesn't condone inaccuracy. It condones standard. It condones fact from reliable figure, like statistics will say. We have to support our argument with evidence that is solid. So if you rely on ChatGPT entirely, you are risking violating the integrity of academic research, which is very important globally. Then number three is bias and fairness. Now, we did a study recently about, we call it label bias. And because the work I'm doing here is about, we are trying to apply, we are trying to see how, because we know that a time will come that hospitals globally will be using AI to make decisions, to treat human beings. And then we know that this, because whether we like it or not, is going to happen. So it's better we start looking at this problem and tell people or tell the policymaker that this is the problem, so that we can know how to address it, and we can tell them these are the caveats. Even you're using this thing for this thing, these are the things that you have to look for. Then we found that what we call label bias is the output itself. The output, what we call the Y in statistics, dependent variable, the Y. So the Y, which is the outcome that we're all looking for, the machine rely on the data set that's already existing, what we call the training set, or what they call the historical data set. So this training set come with a lot of error at times, and then it can also come with bias. For instance, now, Black people are often seen as criminal in some country than another country. Some disease is assumed to be more peculiar to male people than female people. So some things are assumed to be peculiar to some people, and then there's some people, like now, people see Nigerian as a foster. Even though US, Indian, Russia has the highest statistics of first all over the world, Nigeria is not even number 4. Nigeria is number 5 in the world. But yet Nigeria is considered to be the most people that do fraud a lot globally, which is not true. Now, the moment they hear that you're a Nigerian, they put a tag on you, fraudster. Now, if this is labeled for Nigerians data set, and then they are doing they try to train an algorithm to arrest fraudster, then it means that Nigerians has the highest likelihood of being arrested for fraudster, even when they are not a fraudster. I have been a victim before. When I went to South Korea in 2022, I was delayed at the airport for 1 hour, and they put me in guard room for doing nothing, but only because I was carrying a Nigerian passport. Now, this is things that we talk about. So we assume that a time will come that even our police on the road might be robots. Even people that the machine telling about diagnosis in the hospital might be robots. Even people that will be at the counter at the airport and also be robots. Because at times you have to scan a passport through a machine at the airport. And if all these labels are being upon you as a Nigerian or as anybody, and then you get there and the machine alerts you as a fraudster, as a thief, or as whatever it can be. Or maybe you go to the hospital, and then because they feel that Black people are prone to HIV, then the machine says you have HIV automatically. These are issues. So if all these bias gets to machine and then they remain there forever, then the machine will behave the way they are trained. It is just normal, because this machine rely entirely upon what they have as information. And that's why I tell people that there is no way this machine can work for now. I don't know of future in the next 100 or 20 years, but for now that I know, they cannot survive or they cannot do anything without us. So whatever error that we human being committed, this machine also have the highest likelihood of committing the same mistake that we have. And this is one of the limitations that we have. So, and we have to know this. So this is what we tell people we are working now in the hospital, because I'm the only Black guy in their midst. And I always emphasize this to them, that if you are using AI to make decisions, know that you are the one that is responsible for your decision, not that machine that you are using. So even if you said this is what, if the machine tell you that this person has this disease, you need to go back to your own registrar and do your own findings and diagnosis and be sure that indeed this person has that disease. Otherwise, you lose your license as a doctor. So these are the issues that's also one of the limitations that can come with using Gen AI for decision making. Number 4 is data privacy security concern. Now, do you know now, if I want to know everything about Professor Olubusoye now, I don't have to go, I don't even need to ask him. I just go to ChatGPT. You can try it on your system now. Just say that, who is Professor O.E. Olubusoye? He will give you his name, his full name, where he works, his details, his phone number if he asks for it, his email address. That is how bad it is. So everything about his life, you can get it. As far as those things you ask for are available on the internet somewhere before. So, and that's why I tell people that don't put all your life on the internet, because if you put them there, this guy will take them to a machine, and machine will produce them for any query or prompt that anybody throw to them. You'll be surprised. Just query about anyone that put information about internet, except you are not existing on internet. If you are existing on the internet and somebody query your details, you are out there. Everything is open. Now, there is no more privacy anymore. So, and then this comes with a lot of security challenges and concern for us as human beings. And this is another area of it that I think people should be looking at, because this is another fertile ground that it is actually going to be raining. I've seen people, or a lot of ground like Google, Microsoft, Nvidia calling for PhD fellowship on this topic, that's data privacy and security concern using GenAI. So these are the new area that you should be looking at if you want to go to research. Because as far as your data set is among the training sets, it is no more secure. And these guys are so good that they follow go online to extract all the information and keep it into the data center. So that even if you go back and delete them now, it's already with them in the database. So they can query it and then you can have the result. And that is why nothing is hidden again on the internet. As far as available on the internet, then it can be reproduced by generative AI. So those are the one of the limitations again for generative AI. Then, as Prof have said in this one, interpretability and black box nature of machine. First of all, GenAI lack interpretability. It lack explainability. Although people are already working on the two of them now. Lucky for us, statistics takes care of this part. But statistical tools does not go into billions of parameters that they go, because statistics want to explain how each of these parameters explain the outcome. So that's why statistics is very safe as a profession, because this interpretability of a study of that statistics focus on is still very relevant till now. And that is what I use as advantage here for people, because they don't understand it. They don't even know anything about interpretability or explainability. They don't know it. So now they're trying to be the model, or they talk about explainability and they don't even know how to explain it. So GenAI does not have it. They are black box in nature. So it's like saying you give me input and I just tell you the answer, but tell me how I get the answer, I cannot explain. It's like a student that have crammed a textbook. A student that have crammed the whole book for a session, and exam come and the student put the answer down for the lecturer and go away. And next time you ask him, what is this one? He said, I don't remember. The same thing with these guys, because they don't have the sense to think on their own. They rely on training set. So when they take a prompt from you, they go and put it out, they put it out for you. That is why you can try what I'm saying now. You can query ChatGPT, keep the same prompt, and ask ChatGPT the same prompt on different days. You have different responses because it's a random process that they use. And the seed I use per day is different. The seed I use for you today is not the seed I use for you tomorrow. So if you also use this to Grammarly or maybe keyboard and set of them, when you say that you ready to paraphrase your sentences and you put them there, it can give you 3 different paraphrases, I think, for keyboard. I don't know of other ones, but that one will give you 3 different responses. So the same thing happens with GenAI too. So they just go there, get it, and give you back. They are not thinking, they are not creative, they are not in charge of that reasoning. It's just mathematical algorithm, just mathematical sentences that we have done in convolutional CNN that now have been migrated to deep neural network that can have some level of human capability to think, to bring out responses. Like now, if I see a dog, this is a dog. If I see a goat, this is a goat. Human being can tell you why it is goat, why it is dog, but machine cannot tell you why it is goat, why it is dog. And that is a problem. It's just black box. So I see it, I tell you the answer. If it's correct, I'm good. So that's how we do. So we just measure it. So that's why they only measure the performance based on accuracy, if it's qualification, they say accuracy of the machine, sensitivity, specificity, FI score, and ROC. Then it's good. Then if all those ones agree together, they are good, then the machine is good, then you can deploy it and then you can start using it. And so they don't think about the bias or the ethical, the privacy, nobody think about those ones. So, and that's a big problem that we are facing. Now that we'll be facing now in the near future to come. Then that is about, there are so many things that we can talk about limitations of GenAI, but because of time, we cannot just explore everything. So let's go on to misuse. Now we have to understand that when I was I did this study with my students, so that took my computing course. So because Professor Olubusoye always advised me then that we should use, so he started using the this idea of giving students online test. So and I love that. So I used to adopt that style of giving my students test. So I did a study on my students without that knowledge. So because I can't tell them, if I tell them, they will, the system might be biased. So what I did is that in the first year when they are in when they're 12 level, I thought they called statistical computing 2. So I give them CA. I said they should go and do it in their home. So I just allowed them to use it. So many of them use ChatGPT to do it. So it was easy. I just give them questions straight to answer. So I have people scoring 20, 90 over 20, and so on and so forth. So I called the score and I asked them the following day. So I called them to my office, one by one. Do ChatGPT? Don't tell me, don't lie to me. ChatGPT, okay, I use it, blah, blah, blah. So I got those responses down. I have their score against their responses. Then the following CA, I give them in trainer level, because I want to make sure that the same students actually follow the same trend, although different topic, different subject now, but same students. So I also, at this time around, I change my question structuring. So to the extent that if when you ask ChatGPT about the question, it cannot tell you the answer directly. So I change it to make it more difficult for ChatGPT to understand. Then I did it myself. I tested it on ChatGPT and said I failed the responses. Then I put them to the question for the students, and they do it. And I see that most of them that use ChatGPT failed this year. They failed this year. And those that use did the work on their own actually pass very well. So then that's what came out about this topic I have here. I call it artificial versus natural intelligence. So how do you overcome student cheating likelihood in an exam? Because I believe that a time will come that exams has to go on, whether we like it or not. We start doing automation for examination. It's already happening here. In fact, here you can use your system to work to do your exam. Nobody cares. So you can review laptop to the exam. The only thing they do is that because of ChatGPT now, they stop them from using internet doing exam. But meanwhile, all these that they use to write code can still give them answer to the response that they have, so it's still allowed somehow. So first of all, we want to avoid students from losing their academic integrity. That is the goal, because the moment you rely entirely on ChatGPT for everything, particularly those that use for essay writing. I've seen people using ChatGPT to write essay. I was like, this is crazy. How will you use essay? How will you use ChatGPT to write your own essay? Because it's supposed to be your own level of reasoning, but now you're saying it should do it for you. So then, of course, it will do it for you. It will look so beautiful. But if you keep doing that, what happens is that you are trading your natural intelligence for artificial intelligence. And that will discredit you entirely. You lose your skill entirely. You are going to lose your humanity if you are doing that. And then the danger is that it can lead to plagiarism and academic integrity lost. Because if you write a paper now, for instance, with ChatGPT, and then they put it in the machine, it will say you are using ChatGPT to write. That's an algorithm that can help you to detect now if you use this machine or these tools to write your paper, it can easily be detected now. So we don't want that to happen, and that's one of the major you misuse. So people do this often, and then people should be told that it's plagiarism, it is academic fraud, and it's not good. Then our second one is that manipulation of data or result. Now I've seen people use LGBT to coerce their research question such that it will give them what they want, and you can do it. And that are the people that ChatGPT is so stupid that you can insist that this is what you want to have as an output, and ChatGPT will give you that output if you wanted. So that is one of the shortfall or pitfall of it. That now as a researcher now you should not be tempted to do so, even though they are asking you to do that for them. Tell them this is the right thing to do. You can't do this. When I was in the lab, under Professor Olubusoye in Elisa lab, I remember one woman come from geography and asked us to do it. Well, I said, "Madam, this is not possible." And she insisted. I said, "I can't do it because this is not right as a method to use for a study." Now it is going to be easy for her now. You just go and meet people at the SUB and then they will just give the result out by manipulating data sets or the result. So don't forget, this is also misuse of AI, which is not really good. It's a threat to science. This is actually one of the biggest threats to scientific research. And we have seen a lot of people that have been caught, but that the paper have been retracted, people that have big names all over the world. Professors that have won a lot of grants, and then at the end of the day, they found that they have fabricated their results or they have manipulated data set to get. The one that is most recent is one of the professors in Harvard that in fact they even gave her a lot of money. I think she won $1 million for one of her research, and eventually they found that she had done data manipulation for that research. It can come with a lot of heavy fine, and then it can destroy your career if you get involved in this kind of data manipulation and plagiarism. Then I had this news, and then I was surprised when they had the news in July 2025. That is about 2 months ago, that a Microsoft AI researcher claimed that now AI is better than doctors and diagnosing disease. That's the most overclaiming AI capability that anybody can say in this century. You can never tell that AI now has better performance than human being. Number one, these machines are trained on a human data set. It means it's training on my own error and mistakes indirectly. So if I made any bad error, the machine also made that error. If I made any good decision, the machine made that a good decision. So it means the machine performance relies on me as a doctor and my colleague as a doctor and colleagues everywhere in the world that made that diagnosis data set available for the machine to train upon. So how can a machine that trains on my decision making be better than me that made that decision? So this is one of the things that we are saying. Of course, the truth is this: we cannot stop this because we are just researchers. In fact, eventually, certainly we rely on these big names to fund our research. Microsoft fund research, Google, Meta, blah, 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 all of them fund research. So they are the one in charge to make this claim. And the truth is that they will get away with it. And that is why we as a society have to begin to query this kind of claim and let them know that this is actually impossible. You cannot say this, that machines are not better than human being in performing the same task that human being created for the machine to do. That is totally impossible. And that is not going to happen for now. I don't know. Maybe a time will come, the machine can now come up with their own system. They can now eliminate human being, and then, like we see in the movie, and they call what they call that Sugar movie that they did, the Day of Reckoning and so on and so forth that they did. Maybe it's possible in the near future, but for now, this machine rely heavily on us to make decisions that they're doing. In fact, if we take all data set away, they are just going to go back to zero. So the first is when people begin to hype all this AI or this Gen AI for you, you need to understand that they are saying it because they are business people. They are looking for profit making. They're not saying it because it is true. They're saying it because they want to sell their products. Imagine now Microsoft build a robot or a machine that can diagnose human being. And now the thing is about information is this. The moment this thing is being repeated in the media every day, oh, AI is doing better than doctor, and then it become a rhetoric, it become a daily information that people hear, then people begin to believe it. People begin to think, oh, human beings are no more better than these guys, and then you can rely on this guy. So they want to build the trust by giving you misinformation about the capability of the AI. And then before you know it now, they introduce machine that they put out doctors in the hospitals, and the machine will take over the duties. And then it's a big money for the company that build a machine. So the goal is that they want to make money. They don't care about humanity. That's the truth. And that's why researchers like you and I, we are the one that checkmate this kind of overclaim that they always say, this is this, we only know this is not going to be, this is how it is. This is the cover that come with this. And that is what we are there for. Then, so that is some part of misuse or misclaim or that we can come with Gen AI. So now, what are the risks of you relying 100% or maybe 1000% on Gen AI? Number one, it will diminish your critical thinking. That's the fact. The moment you start using Gen AI to do your essay writing, your paper writing, your research writing, your everything writing, before you know it, you just become lazy. It starts from you becoming lazy. You start doing procrastination. You start thinking about, I'll do it, and then, oh, let me just use AI to do it, blah, 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 blah. Then you query it, it'll give you an answer, just copy it and just paste it, just edit, and then you go away. Now, before you know it, you begin to lose your humanity. I call it humanity because that is what makes you unique. So if you begin to lose what makes you unique to machine, then machine takes over your own duty. Then you become now relying on that machine instead of that machine relying on you, and which is not a good thing. So if you depend too much on it, it actually reduces your problem-solving skills. And then we have seen a study that they did in MIT. I will show you later on that they did a study experiment on students, two group of students. There are about different sets of people. Some of them rely so much on AI, another one do their natural intelligence to work, and then they see a lot of decline in those that use AI, and then a lot of growth in terms of thinking and cognitive ability among those that actually rely on their natural intelligence. So now it also go to the extent of taking away your creativity. So you begin to, the moment you begin to rely 100% on AI, you begin to think about, you don't have to think about anything anymore. You don't have to be creative because after I have AI there, I'm paying for it every month so I can get whatever I want done and I can use it anytime that I want. So you begin to lose your foundational knowledge. Like now you know that y is a function of x, and you know how those x's explain the y, how this and this explain that one. So the machine tells you the same thing, of course, and you see a machine can do better than me, I can rely on it. But you don't forget that this machine are not built by themselves. We build the machine. We are the human being that made them possible. We wrote the algorithm, we wrote the code that made them to perform. So it means they need us, because if we don't have that foundational knowledge, the mathematical algorithm that we use to train them or to make them work efficiently, they will not even be in the first place. So that's why you have to retain that authority over the machine. So you cannot allow machine to erode your creativity. If you rely so much on the machine, on Gen AI, then you lose them. You lost everything that you have learned. And then I don't wish you want to lose that. So that's another problem about over reliance. Then another thing is you just find that you begin to lose memory about your like now maybe Professor Olubusoye is supervising your PhD work, and then he asks you to bring your literature review, and then you go to him with generative AI literature review, and then you beat that and he asks you, what does Akintande and Olubusoye in 2025 said about this problem? And then you begin to blab blah, blah, because you did not even read paper. You did not even know what it's about or what they said in their paper. But Jenny just gave you the citation and then he gave you what they have said. And at times it could be wrong. In most cases, it's always wrong. And then you begin to say, because you never read it. So and then if you had just pick that line that you say, Akintande Olubusoye 2025, you just see what they are, you just pick it up. You just repeat what you have seen in the line, which might be leads to propagation of error because what he has said about that paper is not really existing. I've seen series of paper that people have published, and then you find that the paper that are citing does not even exist at all. But the paper that they cited or the machine cited for them is not even in the topic of where they are actually doing research. It's very crazy, and that is the problem that you have. If you rely so much on this guy, you will believe lies that does not even exist in the first place. Like now, you can say Akintande Olubusoye did a study on kidney stone in 2025 and found out that when you take too much of water, your kidney stone problem is significantly reduced. We don't do any study on it. We are not doctors. We are doctor of philosopher. We are doctor of philosophy. We are not doctor of human that treat human being. And then he said that, and he used to repeat that information and said, Akintande Olubusoye in 2025 said when you take too much of water, you can have lesser chance of taking or having kidney stone. And then you tell your friend that one. Your friend take it and say that to another person again. They become a rhetoric in your community of researcher. Whereas that information does not exist at all in between this researcher that you just mentioned. So this happens if you rely 100% on AI. Then again, if you rely on this guy, on this AI too much, another problem is social inequality. First of all, don't forget that people that are in Europe, in the US, they have more access to these tools than you in Africa. No abuse. I'm from Africa, so no, I'm not. So you cannot see me as racist anyway. So my point is like now, I can hardly pay for using this AI tool without breaking any sweat than somebody who is in Nigeria who needs to pay money in USD, and the one USD is about 1,600 naira. So if this thing costs $5, $5 to me, just $5 here. And then to somebody in Africa is about 20,000, 30,000 naira to get that thing done in Africa. So you can see it's going to lead to higher social inequality gap all over the world. It's not in Nigeria, even in India, in Pakistan, in Afghanistan. And then we want people to have equal usage, equal opportunity to access this tool. So if you rely too much on these tools, you find that you are trying to go into the world that you do not belong. And that could be a lot of problem also if you're a researcher. Then I've already talked about this study that they did in MIT that they have two group of students that this is a real life example of when you rely too much on Gen AI. So this professor did a study on two group of students, those ones that use Gen AI all their life for essay, for coding, for everything Gen AI. This one they use Gen AI to just for maybe information gathering, and then they use their brain to do all the tasks that they have to do and then get it done. And they measure their brain activities over time. And they found that those that are using Gen AI actually lost their cognitive ability. That is, their brain becomes so inactive over that period of time they use Gen AI. They don't think anymore. They have no creativity. They are not using their brain to any level again. So just forget. They just let it be abandoned and they go to club and do all those things. But anything that is happened to the academy or their creativity is gone from their brain. And then those that are using their brain to work, their cognitive power begin to improve as they use. So the study conclude that you can use it, but you need to understand that your brain or you are a human being that must still be in control. So that is one of the things. So how do we overcome this temptation? Because this is a temptation that we have now. So because it's temptation indeed, because you can, if you choose to go with Gen AI and then you rely heavily on it, So what are the things that you should do that will help you to avoid this temptation? So we need to, as a teacher, you need to attend, or like you're attending a program now about how to understand the usage and the pitfall of this, which is one of the good way to start. You need to attend lectures like this to listen to what people are saying about how to avoid this pitfall, and then how you can maximize or effectively use artificial intelligence. I use it as well, as Prof have said. For instance, now if I'm working on a project now, for instance, I know what I want to do, and I have developed my code and everything. I've written out, I've done my calculation, and I've done my result. I've tested it, and I was okay. I want to do this thing in thousands of fold now. Okay, just give me a line of code that can help me to generate this thing in thousands of fold, so I can minimize on my time to write my own code. I can minimize the time to begin to put my results in paper like we do, or put my results on one after the other together. So I can say, okay, can I automate this process that can give me like a software that can, which is actually possible as well. So then I can do that, because I'm not a software engineer. I was not trained as a computer scientist, so I'm a statistician. So, and then that's something that I want to do that has to do with a lot of computational power that's I was not taught in school, and then I know how to do the coding, but I cannot go into the issue of building my own software. So rather than meet somebody to help me do it, I can say, okay, you assist me as my secretary to do this for me, then it gets it done for me. So you need to understand the boundary, the limit of how far you can go. So don't allow it to take away who you are, and then always try to always learn more. Try to improve your capacity of thinking, your creativity, your power of knowledge. Read books. Read now. You don't even have to go to the library again. You can read books on the internet and read. They can do a lot of things. You can even ask people to tell you some things, and then you can query them later whether it's right or they are not right. But avoid falling into the hand of relying 100% on it. So you have to develop your own ethical guidelines, and then you have to know also, as well as what I've said, you have to disclose. If you use it for some things, let people know what you have used for, and then how it has helped you, or how it has aided your work somehow, so that you can, because like that, and that is normal practice anyway. If you're doing research, you say, I use Express to do my research, so you can tell people I use this. So we always report software that we use to do our research. It's normal things in research, but it's not, Express does not make me to get my, it didn't help me to think my research objective. I know what I want to achieve. I just use the software to get it. The same way you can use GenAI for, you know what you want to do. You can use it to just help you to aid that thing to be faster, to get your result as soon as you want to get it. So we need to also make sure that we are also auditing the output that we have. And then that means that you have to understand what's supposed to be. Because if you know what's supposed to be as an outcome, then you will not know when the AI is giving you a wrong response. So you have to be sure about that. So another way of using it responsibly, just to add to what Prof said before, is that you always verify the content with primary source. For instance, I get an example of maybe you use it for literature review or sorting, and then you say that Akintande and Olubusoye 2025 said this. Maybe you just say, give me a link to that paper. Then you look at the link, you download the paper yourself, and you go and read the paper yourself. Does this paper truly said what this guy is saying? You see, now he has given you information. They can say, give me link to this paper that you just cited now, and give me. So then you get the link to the paper, you download the paper for yourself, and you read the paper yourself. And oh, indeed, the paper said what this guy said. Then in that one now you have verified this. You have already information about that paper said, that paper that you just read now. You know what it's saying. So if anybody asks about the paper that you just read, you can tell them the story yourself. You're not repeating, or you're not propagating the error of machine, but now you are speaking from a source that is actually valid. So you can use that way. You can use to say, give me information about the that I was talking about this problem. They can give me the link to the paper that you have used. Then your own time, take the paper out and go through the paper one after the other to know that this is actually true from the source. Another thing is that, so you have to foster a culture of critical evaluation of your research team. So if you are head of research team, or maybe you're one of the research team, you need to understand that you have to, because these days now, if anybody make mistake in research as a team, the mistake is blame on all of you as a team. You don't say it is Olalekan that did the mistake, or it is Lami that did the mistake. As a team, you are all responsible. So you have to make it an habit for everybody to be able to present their work and their source of information to you at all your meetings that you have, so that you know that everybody is using the right tool that's able to use, and they are not AI. Then you have to also advocate for transparency development to address limitation of AI. So you have to make sure that there is, as Prof said, your result must be reproducible. That is, whatever you are doing, even before AI come, before they start doing AI, Prof asked me to join the team. They call them open something. I forgot the name that they call it. And I said I should join that time. They do this kind of research. That is, you have to be able to reproduce your results. You have to be able to reproducibility and responsibility and so on and so forth. So that should be the core value of your research as a researcher. Then you have to also build an innovation with ethical oversight. You have to always think ahead. Am I violating any ethical rules? Am I penetrating to anybody's privacy? Am I breaking anybody's privacy? Am I putting anybody at risk with my research? All these things you have to query when you are using this machine. So I think in conclusion, we have to know that Gen AI is good and it comes with bad and also it has its own ugly side. So it's very powerful in the sense that because the way it trains and the way it gives information is very fast and it can solve a lot of problem within a twinkling of an hour. But we have to understand that we have to be responsible for whatever is coming out of AI. AI is a machine. It's just a robot. It's garbage in, garbage out. So the garbage in is the training set. The output is what you prompted to ask for that it gave you. Always know that the machine is not human being and is not responsible for anything that is given you. It is your responsibility to make sure that you go after it and make sure that everything is in order and nothing is being violated or being left out. So abuse use of AI can make a beautiful institution without a professor or intellectual. That is like Prof gave you a code. This is my own code as well. So if you abuse AI, it can make a beautiful institution you can make it like this decision is so good, but that decision does not have a professor and does not have intellectual in it. So thank you very much for listening, for having me. I'm open to your views as well, and then we can discuss it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much, sir. So it was a really enlightening session. I'm so grateful, sir. You said a lot of things, but I really would just want to briefly talk about the fact that and emphasize the fact that you mentioned that using AI should not diminish our critical thinking. Yes, and should not lose what makes us unique. I think many people do this, many people fall in this pit. We just Many people just use AI and then they are forgetting or they forget that somehow they are already allowing it and lose their uniqueness. AI is supposed to help us be more effective, save time and all. But now it's already getting to the point where it's now making us less effective or not even making good use of our own or not thinking right like we're supposed to. So thank you very much, sir. You post that for you.
Yeah, actually, the fact I think Dr. Akin mentioned something that I just put down immediately when he mentioned that ChatGPT is not human and sometimes it needs to be checked. And I think, like I said earlier, is something that we do a lot of times. In fact, some people would say, this is my best friend. Some people will say, this is my go-to person. So they are free to discuss anything with ChatGPT. And most people, or let me say a lot of people, even get feedback from it. And whatever ChatGPT has asked them to do, they feel that, okay, that's the best thing to do. And I think these things that we've had and these things that has been discussed is really, really a whole lot. And I believe we've learned because I personally have actually learned a lot. We can go on and on, but I really want us to have time for our participants to ask questions because I know that some of them have been coming in. Please, if you are live with us presently, you can type your questions in the chat box. And if you want to ask it live, we would be glad to hear it from you. Just tell us your name and your region, your country. That's all. But for now, we'll take the questions that we have on ground. But please, you can keep your questions coming. You can type them inside the chat box or just raise your hand. We'll see the signal from here and we will unmute you from our end and we'll take your question. All right, so let's have the first question.
Okay, so the first question we have, Prof mentioned earlier that it's very important, and you also said something regarding that, that it's important that we understand, or for example, if we're doing a literature review, it's important that you understand what literature review is and what you are expected to do, what you are expected to present. So the question is, the level of expertise, for example, using literature review, will it determine the quality of the results using AI? So if someone is not so knowledgeable when it comes to literature review, will it determine the quality of that person's literature review compared to somebody that really understands what literature review, or just because both of them are using AI, they will get the same results? So that's the first question, sir.
Okay, the question is for me, I suppose. Oh, okay, so you know, in my presentation and even in Dr. Akin's presentation, the emphasis is that first of all, you are the most important entity. So, which means your expertise must be there. You are the one, as a researcher, you are the one that wants to conduct research. It's not the AI that wants to conduct research. So we need to get that right. It's just like you want to drink water, but you need the cup to take the water from maybe dispenser to your mouth. So the AI, stuff that we have been talking about, they are mere tools. They are tools to support your research, pipeline. So you are, first of all, you are the driver. So you are the expert. So if you don't have that expertise in the first instance, then you are not likely going to be able to know what to use and how to use the tool properly. So building your expertise, having, being knowledgeable enough in your field is a prerequisite for you to be able to harvest, the benefit associated with the use of AI tools. So in short, the answer to that question is that, one, you have to be an expert in your field. And then two, your expertise will guide you as to what information you need, how you should utilize the AI tool to get the information. I don't know if that answers the question.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. That answers the question.
All right, thank you, sir. We have a question from our chat box. This is from Ruben. I don't know the country now, but this is from Ruben, and he's asking that what is the best and free AI tool that one can utilize for research? So what is the best and the free AI tool that one can utilize for research?
Well, I don't know anything that is the best in this world, because everything, you always have alternatives. So in those days when we used to, use statistical software, we have software, Starter, SPSS, and so on. And students will be asking which software is the best. So the truth is that you cannot say one is the best because they can offer different level of accuracy and performance. So what we do encourage, even in machine learning, what you do is you run several machine learning algorithms and evaluate their performance. So in my presentation, I categorize the different tools. So for data collection, for data analysis, for so on. So in those categories, in each of those categories, you can have multiple tools available for you to do your stuff in that category. So I'm not going to be able to say precisely, this is the best one for data collection. This is the best one for, In fact, the good thing is that you can harness multiple tools for the same function, for the same task.
All right, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Concerning these tools, are they all free, or we have to pay for these tools? Are they accessible to everybody? Let's say we want to start using these tools right now after this webinar. Are they all free?
They are free, but even those ones you consider free, you have a level that is available for free. So there are pro, that if you don't subscribe, you won't be able to use the power of the tool to the extent that you possibly want. So, and it's also not good for you as a researcher to rely on free things all the times. One of the things I've learned in life is that whatever you get for free could also turn out to be poison. So you could be giving poison free, but sometimes also. So please, you can use free stuff, no problem, but don't always base your need on looking for free stuff.
All right, sir. Thank you very much, sir. The next question, I believe, would be for Dr. Akintande, sir. I have Etambi from Cameroon. The question is that talking about how to utilize the AI tools, how do we prompt AI in order to minimize the errors in AI responses? So how do we prompt AI in order to minimize the error in AI responses?
Well, it's a tricky question. It's very tricky because there is no best way to prompt AI to avoid error. Because, as I've said before, their responses is just based on randomization. So when you ask AI for a particular question, whatever you give, you can be very lucky that you don't encounter any error. It's quite possible. And then you can also encounter error. So, but the thing is that you have to, whenever you do any prompting, you need to verify whatever information you are actually deriving. That's whether it is true or not. So it's not, I can't say there is a particular best way to avoid error. For instance, I told you, I query who is the president of America. It's a very simple thing to ask anybody in 2025, and they know this is Donald Trump. But AI tell me is Joe Biden. Although now, I think that they have already updated the model to accommodate the new training set. So it's not that it's not maybe the response was wrong. It's just because that the model that the machines responding upon is not updated to the 2025 information that we have as human being. So when you make any prompt, you need to verify yourself, and that's why you are the human being in front of the computer to see whether the response that you are receiving as from the prompting is actually correct or not correct. So, and that goes to everything, whether it is you are writing code, you are to correct your mistake and everything. it's always good you have a good knowledge of what you are querying or what you are prompting about. And then you can verify that information from different sources. I think now they are now including sources with the responses. And I think if you're using maybe Grok or ChatGPT, they always come with link to, or you can query, you can ask for the link of that information so that you can go there to read about what the machine just gave you. So it's always possible to request for source of information that he used to give you that information. So it's always good. So when you make a prompt and you see that this looks fishy or not convincing, you can just query further to say, give me a link to this to the source of information that you have used for your responses. It will give you automatically. So you can then go to those links and see whether what you have is indeed what the machine have said as a response to your prompt. So I think that's the best way you can verify the information. But to say avoid any mistakes, you don't know when to come up with a mistake, except you know that it's a mistake. So that's the problem.
All right. Thank
I
you
hope I'm
very
still here.
much, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Can hear you, sir. Okay, this from Favor James from the University of Ibadan. She wants to know if correcting AI errors while interacting with generative AI changes the quality or nature of the interaction or future reply.
Yes, indeed, you do. So like now, if you query ChatGPT or for instance any one of them and it give you a wrong response, you say, no, this is the correct answer. In most cases, the response will be that, oh, thank you very much for this information. I will use it to update my memory. And next time you ask the same question again, you'll be surprised that it has actually updated that response to give you the correct answer. It happens. So I think now they have put that algorithm into it that say when people supply information that is actually superior to what the machine gave as response, then the machine can cram it or use it as part of its training. They can reply and use the information next time it's going to respond. And that's another problem again, because how sure are you that what you are also saying is also correct? So, and that's it, and this is the problem. So, and that I tell you that it's just garbage out. So when somebody said this is the right information, and the machine gave you something different, it will take your own information as correct and then store it again. And then when you ask that in again, you give your own response back to the person. So if you are also supplying something that is also wrong as information, it's also continue to propagate that error for the next prompting or response that is becoming. And that's the problem. So I think the main thing is that these guys oftentimes update their model, so you don't have to be afraid. Even if what you give today is not correct, you just know it's not correct. I can say this is a correct response, and then you can go on. But always make sure that you're on the lookout. You're always at alert. Your creativity is still there as a human being to checkmate whatever response you're getting from the machine. So that's just the borderline. You have to have this borderline concept when you're using the algorithm, the machine to query or to do any prompting. You have to know that you must always check or verify information that you have from it. After somebody writes an essay, I think there was an application that they submitted, and then maybe the students or the applicants use Gemini to generate the essay. I think they said they should write something about something, and then mistakenly he copied the response with, when you get response from ChatGPT, for instance, it will tell you that can I give you more information about blah 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 blah. And the student was so lazy, he just copied the whole thing and pasted it and submit to the reviewer. So when the committee reviewed the document, it was very interesting story that he wrote, but eventually they saw the last line, which is saying, do you want me to also add this information? So that is how people can be so reliant and then making mistake and propagating this kind of issue. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll take one more question because according to our schedule, we should be ending now. So this is from Aruna from Nigeria here, and is asking that how can we humanize an AI generated statement? So how can we humanize an AI generated statement? I don't know, but maybe I should have Dr. King again.
Can you hear us, sir? Elisa, can you hear us?
I can hear you. I think
Okay,
it's a
okay,
question
sir.
for
You
me.
can, yes, sir, you can help us, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Well, there are also AI tools for humanizing AI-generated documents. But the truth again is that there are also AI tools. So, so they are not, they are AI tools, but you can also use them, to turn your AI-generated document to human-generated. But that does not remove the fact that it's still AI generated. So what we normally recommend is that even when why is it that people simply don't want to do anything at all? Because the idea is that AI has a pattern in the way generated documents are given. And just a little effort will turn it, the document to what is human. So you can, having generated it, you can now create time to now make it human yourself. There are phrases that you might need to edit or modify. There are a few editing that you might need to carry out. There are slangs that you might need to introduce. The way we speak as humans, we create jokes and so on like that. AI-generated documents will not create that human sentiment in the document. So those are the little ways that you can humanize your document yourself without necessarily having to depend on the AI tool again to turn it to human. So it's AI human AI. So, but so that is my own advice. But when you go on social media everywhere, you see other AI tools that are promoted, or that are advertised to say they can help you to also turn AI-generated document to human document. But a little effort on your part will make this thing human completely. Introduce your own flavor into the document. Bring joke into the document. Start the way you normally start your own expression. Bring in some local adage or local stuff. Make it human. That's all that you need to do.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. I don't know, maybe Dr. Akintande is back online. Maybe he has one or two things to say on that question too.
Yes, I'm back. Sorry, I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Can hear you, sir.
Oh, I don't know what happened to my internet. My team just cut off. Not the internet this time. So I don't know the question again. I think I responded to the last question before I left.
Yeah, the question, yes, is on how we can humanize an AI-generated statement. Although Prof has answered, but I just feel maybe you have one or two things to add to it also. How we can humanize an AI-generated statement.
Yes, sir.
How can make it human? Okay, yeah. Yeah, of course. I think what Prof already told you already. So the main thing is that whenever you use AI to generate a response, it's your duty as a human being or as a researcher to take the information and look at it and then put your own human creativity into the content and make it human. So like now, AI will just go in and type information randomly about whatever you have asked. You need to look at it and say, does it could make it could actually make a lot of sense in terms of, because this guy used a lot of data set to talk about their responses. So it could look so perfect and the rest of them. But nonetheless, you still have to make sure that it's your own information, it's your own idea. Because the thing is whenever you use AI to generate responses, if they put into this AI checker, it will tell you that you use AI 100% to generate your responses. So that means that it can help to generate idea, but you have to take the AI, the content, and then it's like it's giving you an idea of how to do something that you can then sit down and develop your own idea around whatever response you got. But I totally want to discourage people using AI to generate essay writing, like letter or articles and all those ones. It is one of the bad use of using AI to do research. It shouldn't be the one that will think for you, have to think about the problem you have to solve. It can assist you to talk about what method you should use, how you should address the problem, how you should go about it. But saying that you should be able to write, like now saying, give me an introduction about this topic and this and that and that. Yeah, that is, to me, I don't think I want to encourage people using that to write or to develop content, to develop introduction for people how to, or essay writing and rest of them. You should use your own brain as a human being to develop your own idea, and that's what makes you unique as person, to write your own statement, to write your own content yourself. Then you can then go to Grammarly to correct your grammar because you are not English speaker as native. You can go to keyboard to help you to paraphrase, to make it more, to look more standard. So that you can use that. But saying that generally should be able to write content and then you just copy and paste. First of all, even if you are trying to even edit it, you are already going to lose your idea or your creativity part of your human being, because already you have an idea right in front of you. So you want to think exactly in that line of the machine that he has given you. But if you write your own statement or your own content from beginning to the end, then you want to edit and correct your grammar, then it is easy for you to do so. Then you can do all those ones. In fact, what may I do is this: when I write any content, I take it to Grammarly. I don't pay for Grammarly, so that it's not able to write my or to correct my grammar. I used to improve my grammar writing and the rest of them. So I just put it in Grammarly and then I begin to edit it in Grammarly myself until I have 100% of correction. Right? So you are perfect now. Then in that sense, I also learn how to write, to edit my grammar. So it's like I have a teacher that is helping me to correct my grammar. Then I know what is correcting my English, what is correcting my writing. So I understand what is correcting. I know next time that mistake will not come again for me anymore. So in that way, I'm using that Grammarly to also teach myself how to write my grammar better. So, but if you're using Gen AI to generate all those kind of content, you are losing your creativity automatically. That's the truth. Because there's something that you can use your AI to do that will not make you to do anything. For instance, things that you don't know how to do before. Like now, you don't know how to write code, and then you want to write a code for a particular project, but you know the answer, you know how it is, so you know what outcome supposed to be. You can use it because you're not trained as a computer scientist or as a programmer or as a developer. You may use that, but you should also know some level of coding in that program, in that language, before you can also query or say that prompt. Because if you are relying on everything that is just coming directly from them, you may not want to do anything for yourself again. So personally, in my own opinion, is that don't use Gen AI to generate your essay, like introduction for your paper, for your thesis, for everything. Don't begin at all. Don't begin it at all. Sit down, write your own statement, write everything. In fact, make grammar mistake, make all your mistake. Then you can go and copy and put this in Grammarly. Don't pay for Grammarly. Use the free one so that you can learn to correct your own grammar. Go through those painstaking kind of efforts to build yourself first. When you know how to do those things perfectly, then you can then begin to look for help. But if you don't know how to use them to do them before, and then you are beginning to depend on AI to do those things, then you don't know anything at all. That's the problem. So you need to understand the differences. So I would advise that don't use AI for anything, your essay writing, your all those ones that you're supposed to do yourself. Things that you can do yourself. Don't use AI to do it. But use it as like a support system, like like somebody that can ask question from what you don't know or what you don't understand. So so make it like a partner, like a colleague that you ask questions from. Like, rather you going to a meet to professor, Prof, this problem, I have this problem. How can I go about it? You can ask AI first, then you can go and be Prof, I'm looking for this. I had this problem in my work, and then I don't know how to go about it. And I asked ChatGPT about it. He told me this and that. Do you think this is how I'm supposed to do it? Because you want to learn. That's the so you want to learn. You want to know how to do that thing first. So when you know how to do it, then you become better. Then you can then know when this AI made mistake. But if you don't know the answer before, how will you know when the AI is making mistake? That's the problem. So that's my own response to that.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir. Please, I'll take the last question because she's from our foreign participant. She's our foreign participant, sorry. I'll take the last question, and that's from Celia. Celia is from Mozambique, and she's asking that how can I guide my students to use AI with responsibility? As students, they don't have the ability to filter the information. So she said high school students from G8 to G12. So how can she guide her students to use AI with responsibility because they don't filter the information? That's coming from Celia from Mozambique. I don't know, but maybe both Prof and then Dr. Akin also will still answer this also. Thank you.
Okay, for me, I mean my suggestion is that one, you need to build the capacity of the student to utilize critical thinking. And in critical thinking, you are concerned about how, why, raising critical questions. So because if you give them anything to do, you want them also to be able to answer those questions. How did you arrive at this? What prompt did you use? Those basic information could put the students on their toes so that they will also know that they are responsible for whatever they present to you as lecturer or teacher. If you take whatever they give you without also asking them questions, without probing, you are in a way exposing them to rely heavily on the AI tools. Like we emphasize in this discussion, the AI tool is to support our research circle, but not to take over the research circle. So I will advise that you engage them in and develop their critical thinking skills. I think that's what I can say about that.
Yes, I think I will just start from what Prof stopped. So I will just want to buttress what Prof said now. So normally before AI come, if you give student assignment, normally they will go to Google often time. And some of them that are not available, that don't have access to internet or computer, they might go to library to source information. So they do so, then from there they extract whatever they want, then they come to you, they submit the assignment. So because now we're in the age of AI now, I think what we can do to make them to be more responsive, as Prof have said, is to put them on their toes. So you can't say they shouldn't use AI. You can use it, but whenever they come to you with the submission of their assignment of their idea, then let them go to the board and tell you how they arrive at that responses. What have they done? How did they get it? Like now, maybe now you have said that you are giving them to do a work on linear regression, for instance. You want them to show you how they understand what linear regression is themselves, not from what ChatGPT said, but from what their understanding of what they have read from ChatGPT responses or from that's what they have used to get the information. You want them to be able to convince you that they actually understand or they understood what the content they are bringing forward to you to submit. And I think that's the normal practice that they use for us. When I was in my master's degree, under Professor Famoya and also Prof, whenever you go to these people to say, this is my findings, I remember Professor Famoya would tell me to just give me a marker and say, go to the board and explain your model to me and how you have gotten it. So next time you are going to such professor, you know that you have to go there prepared. Like you need to understand what you're coming to come and present to them. So, and that makes the student to be more serious, to be more conscious about whatever they're bringing forward to you. So you can't say they shouldn't use it, but put them on their toes that they should come, whenever they give the solution to their problem, they should be able to come and also defend it before they can get their full mark for that assignment. So with that, they will use AI responsibly because they will also go further to query how those things are combined and the theory or the concept behind those responses they are getting. So your own style will force them to go deeper beyond just copy and paste and submission and having the grade score and then go away. So that's what you can do. So you should make sure that they not only copy, but they also understand how those things are combined from the result. The good thing is that GenAI is like a library of books now. So if you ask a question, it can restore them for you within a few seconds. Whether are you going to go and pick those books, book from a shelf and reading it yourself? So you can just give you a summary of everything. But students, you need to understand more than summary of what AI will give you, and that is where you will use against them to make them to be more responsible when they're using the ChatGPT or the AI for their work. That's my opinion.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for that answer. So, as a rounding up, I really want to emphasize the fact that AI cannot be held responsible for any mistake that we make. So it's just like taking a source and then taking from sources and delivering to you. So remember that it cannot be held responsible. And remember that you don't have to lose your uniqueness. You are human. So you should not try all means to ensure that the result you are getting from the AI is human. That's where you come in. It's supposed to help you to be more effective, to be faster, and also not to replace you. So it's a collaboration with you as a human being, with AI. So thank you very much, Professor. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Saz. I think I would be going on today with the fact that machine cannot do without us, that they actually need us. And we are responsible for the decision that they give us and not the machine themselves. So we are really, really very, very grateful for today's webinar. I really want to appreciate our speakers, Professor Olubusoye. Thank you very much, sir. We are so much grateful that you could join us despite your busy schedule. Thank you very, very much, sir. Dr. Akintande, thank you so much, sir. We are really, really very grateful also. I want to appreciate all our participants that joined us from the beginning or joined us halfway. From our database here, we realized that we have participants from Ghana, from the UK, from Mozambique, from Cameroon, and from India, from Nepal, and Philippines as well. Thank you so, so much for joining today's webinar. We are so much grateful that you could join us, and we believe that we would have another one very, very, very soon. Thank you for joining us, and we are so much happy to have us. Thank you very much, and let's enjoy the rest of our day.
Thank you. Bye for now.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.